Hey, what's up, everyone? It's Zach from the ZAP podcast. I have always wanted to start a podcast, but I never knew where to start or where to even begin. And then I stumbled across the Anchor app. I love the Anchor app because it's completely free and it has all the editing and uploading capabilities that you need right from your phone. So it's super easy and super user friendly. If you've always wanted to start a podcast, go download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. All right, let's get on to the episode. All right, what's up, everyone? It's Zach, and today I'm here with a very special guest. I am joined by Lindsee Ann. Lindsee, how are you doing tonight?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, I'm doing well. Thanks for asking, and thanks for taking some time to talk tonight.
Of course. Thank you for having me. Happy to be here.
Of course. Yeah. So, Lindsay, really cool person. She's currently a student, and she's also a musician. Has been doing content creation on YouTube for quite a while now, mainly singing and ukulele, music related content. And it's actually funny because back when I first started getting into music and the ukulele specifically, Lindsay was like one of the first people that I actually found on YouTube, probably at this point, like, geez, I don't even know, like 10 years ago or something. So it's pretty cool. It's a kind of full circle moment to be chatting right now. But that's just a little bit about her. But do you mind kind of giving some of your background, what you're doing these days, all that good stuff?
Yeah, of course. Well, first of all, thank you for following the years. You've
Yeah.
definitely gone through some of my awkward phases, but I appreciate you sticking around.
Yeah.
Right now, I am currently living in LA. I'm actually from OC, so I just moved about like 30 minutes north for PT
Okay.
school. So I'm currently getting my doctorate in physical therapy, and I'm in my last year of school. Just finished up my second clinical. And yeah, like you said, I've been doing YouTube here on the side. I've been able to work on some side projects during school, which has been really fun. But yeah, YouTube started about like, I don't know, 2 years ago now, maybe. Like
Mm-hmm.
you said, just been doing covers here and there whenever I can manage and find some time to do that. So it's been cool to have like different aspects of life just come together here and there.
Yeah, definitely. And Lindsay, when you first got into YouTube, like, I mean, like you said, it's been maybe like 10 years. So I don't know. YouTube was what kind of popular, but not like nearly as popular as it is now. Like, what made you want to do it or start posting covers on there?
Yeah, so actually, one of my cousins, she's like a few years older than me, and she's like one of my best friends. But
Okay.
she's playing the ukulele and singing and putting stuff up on YouTube. And me being like the annoying little sister, I just want to copy her and like do my thing too. So she taught me how to play, and I started recording with her and started joining her on her YouTube. But then obviously our schedules started changing, so I
Hmm.
decided to do some stuff on my own. And then when I saw like how YouTube worked, I thought it was super cool, and I just kept wanting to make videos, even though if it's like one person watching or how
Yeah.
many other people. I just thought it was cool that I could make an impact or make someone happy on the other side for a little bit, you know?
Yeah. That's awesome. And with like the content you've posted, I know that there's been a lot of covers, there's been a lot of originals and stuff. Do you have like a favorite between whether it's like original content or covers, or like do you have a favorite video that you've uploaded in your time on YouTube?
Mm. Uh, I actually really like doing covers and
Okay.
specifically like any
Yeah.
medley stuff like that, just because I like changing it. Like obviously I love music and music inspires
Hmm.
me so much, but when I can like put my own spin on it and like interpret it the way that I interpreted the song when I first listened to it, I like putting that out there. But
Okay.
obviously I really like making originals too. It's just sometimes that writer's block hits really hard, but uh,
Yeah.
doing both if I'm
Okay.
being honest with you.
Yeah, that's awesome. And what was it? Was it your cover of Fancy?
Hmm.
That like it got picked up in a video with like Charlie XCX or something.
Yeah, that was that was really funny actually. It was, I think, around this time last year I got an email from Glamour magazine, and they were like,
Yeah.
"Hey, we want to feature your cover of Fancy by Charlie XCX. And I looked back on the video and I was like, oh my God, I can't believe I posted this in the first place.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was really cool. I actually got to play the cover for Charlie,
Okay.
and she got to kind of comment on like how I did my cover and like other people's covers of her song.
Yeah.
Really cool to see the artists um, watch your version of something. It's just like an honor,
Yeah.
and yeah, it's really humbling too. But
Yeah, that's so cool. I mean, I remember I guess like you said, maybe like a year ago, from now is when that happened. I remember like seeing that. I was like, no way, that's wild. Like I remember just watching like I remember watching that cover when you uploaded it and I was like, wow, that's crazy.
I know I remember could rap, you know? So I was
Yeah.
like, I can't believe this is coming back to haunt me, but I mean, it was a good thing, I guess.
Right. And I think that's like kind of the cool thing about like social media and like YouTube. It's like we upload things and like, yeah, maybe they're kind of cringy to look back, but it's also kind of cool. It's like a time capsule almost like look back and be like, wow, I really went for it back then, or like I really tried something that don't know if I'd have the guts to do that now, but good for me back then.
Yeah, exactly. Like when I look back on my old videos, it's kind of cool to see what song was impacting me at the time because I
Hmm.
like my music style changes all the time. So
Yeah.
to see what was like really important to me during that time is really
Hmm.
cool to look back on because it's obviously changed. So
Yeah, definitely. And I was thinking about it before we jumped on this call. The first video of yours that I think I remember watching when I first like got a ukulele. Like I literally bought a ukulele and then like I just YouTubed a whole bunch of covers and stuff to try to learn. I think the first one was the Frank Ocean Thinking About You that you did.
mm,
I loved
I
that one. The
Yeah,
remix.
thank you. Oh my gosh, I forgot I remixed that one too, but
Yeah.
I love Frank Ocean. He's like
Yeah.
one of my top inspirations for sure. Just the way he emotes and expresses himself.
Yeah.
Strive to be like that too. So
That's
yeah.
awesome. I mean, I think it's been all these years. I think I need a studio version of that or something so I can start streaming it. I remember your remix of it still to this day. So it was good writing.
Oh my god, thank you. Yeah, I'll have to
Yeah.
look back and see what I wrote. Maybe I'll do a
Yeah.
different rendition of it.
There you go. There you go. We have it on record now, so now you have to do it, right?
I know, right? Now it's just set out there. It's put into existence.
Yeah, definitely. So, you mentioned that you're a student right now in you said your final year or
Yeah.
semester, was it?
Yes.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah.
So, what is, I guess, what was the inspiration that led you to going to PT school and everything?
Yeah, so back in the day, I used to dance, so I was very
Okay.
involved in like the dance world. And then I saw a couple friends get injured here and there, and I didn't really think much of it. Actually, in the beginning, I wanted to go into media and like entertainment, something with
Mm-hmm.
like music. Um, and then our high school made us do four different internships, and one was like media. The second one was just like office work somewhere. My cousin actually encouraged me to try out physical therapy because she thought my
Okay.
personality would be a good fit for it. And I've never considered physical therapy. I never had physical therapy in the first place. But when I did that internship, I fell in love with helping people and seeing it firsthand how some small things you can do can impact someone into getting back into like their function and their purpose in life.
Yeah.
And I I felt really compelled after talking to a couple patients um, back in 2014. So from there, I just decided to do a couple more internships in physical therapy and see if this really was the route I wanted to go. And after doing, I want to say hours or so, I I really it just fell in love with the profession even more and really wanted to apply to PT school. After like my dad ended up having physical therapy, and seeing him go through that and seeing the impact it made on his life made me want to do that for people as well. So
That's awesome. And you said you're getting your doctorates in PT. How long is like the whole schooling process for it? How many years?
Yeah, so the doctorate program for physical therapy is about 3 years. I
Okay.
know some schools do 2.5, but it's super accelerated and fast paced. But a typical
Yeah.
program is about 3 years.
Okay. So then, apologize if this is a dumb question, but like
Oh.
you went undergrad, then did you have to do like go into a master's and then a doctorates
Yeah, so
for
the
the
cool
program?
thing about physical therapy is you could just get your bachelor's undergrad and you don't really
Mm-hmm.
have to get a master's to get your
Okay.
doctorate. You can just go straight into the doctoral
Okay.
program, which I liked because I didn't have to
Yeah.
spend more time. Okay, so
Right. So then if you're taking that route, then it would be like about 7 years if you do it all in like
yeah,
4 and 3.
yeah, typically it's about 7 years to
Okay.
just be a physical therapist after high school at least. So
Man,
yeah.
that's a long journey.
Yeah, that's what made me realize, I guess, that this is what I really wanted to do, that I was
Hmm.
willing to go through all that extra time and work to get to where I am now. It definitely
Yeah.
was a process and it was a journey, but I mean, I had a great social support and I still do that was pushing me to keep going. And
Hmm.
yeah, here I am now. So
That's awesome. And so did you go straight into the doctoral program from undergrad?
So I ended up
Okay.
taking like a year break because
Okay.
I graduated undergrad in 3.5 years. So I had that
Oh wow, okay.
where I didn't know what to do in between. So
Yeah.
I ended up working a little bit at some physical therapy office and just getting some more hours in. And
Hmm.
it was weird, right? Because when I first started PT school, that's when COVID hit.
Okay.
So it was an interesting transition to like start grad school online, super
Yeah.
out from everybody in my program.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, so a little gap in between that.
Hmm. Okay. And I would imagine that, like, of course, any internships or like field experience, right, would be like pretty hands-on for PT. But like, I'd assume even just like class in general would probably be a little easier in person than like virtual.
Oh,
Is that
100%.
okay?
Yeah, especially because we have to like be touching different body parts.
Mm-hmm.
The first semester was interesting because we had a few classes where we could go in person, and
Okay.
our program was the only one allowed on campus. And
Gotcha.
we had to be separated into like groups of 10. So we
Mm-hmm.
started off doing that. And then eventually, when things got a little better, we were able to connect as a class and just get tested regularly just to
Yeah.
keep safe. So,
Okay. Gotcha. Yeah. I was just kind of curious on that because funnily enough, I also started grad school at pretty much the onset of COVID. Fall 2020 was when I went back for grad school.
oh,
So
awesome.
yeah, so I went for human resources. So it was a lot easier to have like virtual classes because like unlike physical therapy, right? Like you don't really have to be in person for a lot of that learning. So yeah, I was thinking like for a program like yours, like that probably would have been pretty tough having to do it like remote, with just like the nature of the work and stuff.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's definitely a very unique case that
Hmm.
I hope we don't have to go through again, but
Right.
it's definitely a special circumstance starting grad school like that.
Yeah, for sure. And now when it comes to, finishing up your education, and going on to the next step, is there like a specific, I don't know, like age group that you'd want to work with, or like people from like sports injuries, or like I guess is there like is that kind of like a thing for PT where you can almost like have like a niche group or population that you work with, or is it just whoever needs it?
Yeah, for sure. There's different specialties in physical
Okay.
therapy, which is why I think I like it too, because we don't really have to stick to one. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I remember going into physical therapy, I wanted to work with a lot of athletes and a lot of dancers
Yeah.
and stuff like that. But through school, it's funny, I feel like I'm in a now because I've always wanted to do like dancers, Pilates, athletes, and now I'm just torn in between working with patients who have neurological dysfunctions or even like pediatric.
Mm,
Right now, but about PT is like keeping in mind and just seeing what you're passionate about, just different avenues to see your life. I don't think there's a harm in being open minded if you want. So yeah, I think that's been changing that mindset and just being more open, so I can experience all these different things and see what I'm passionate about. Because I don't know, life's so short, right? You don't know what's
yeah.
gonna come your way if you don't try it out. So
Yeah, I think that's really cool with the profession itself, just being able to have different specializations and like you can kind of say like, oh, let me try this one and then, maybe you don't like it or maybe it's not your favorite, so you switch to a different one, or maybe you love it, but like, it's only for that like chapter of your life for those couple of years or something, and you move to the next one. So I think that's really nice. And then I like just the kind of just life message, I guess you could say, that you shared, with just like being open to things and just like whether it is like your career or your specialization or just anything. Like I think having that openness and being open-minded is just something that you never know what could happen or what could come out of situations. So I really like that you mentioned that in general.
yeah, for sure. Thank you. Yeah, just
Yeah.
like, pretty crazy, right?
Yeah.
Just being open to things and just everything can come your way. So just taking it for what it is cool.
Yeah,
So
definitely. And maybe, Lindsay, you mentioned this kind of with growing up, having that dance background. Maybe you've witnessed it personally or just like in your own experiences or from people that you danced with or that you know. I know that like for me, I grew up playing sports, and I think that like when I was active in playing sports and like my friends and stuff, like we all at that age like kind of think we're invincible and we might get hurt in a sport and be like, oh, like I'll be fine, or like we don't rehab it properly or go to physical therapy because we're young and we think we can just bounce back. And I know that I have set my physical body back some progress in time for not taking care of myself properly when I was younger. And in the moment and now, like I mean, I feel like I have the body of like a 80-year-old from all the sports injuries that I've had. So I think I think that's another cool thing about hearing your story and like kind of your experiences with PT, just because it's like I think it's important to educate younger people just about how important it can be, and it's not like bad, or like I think for me, like even I was like, oh, like I don't want to go to physical therapy, like that's what older people do, or like I don't know, like I just in my head had like some stigma against doing it as like a 14-year-old or something.
yeah, no, for sure. I mean, I feel like that's a lot of us when we're growing up. We do think we're
Hmm.
invincible, and like I think that's the interesting thing too about working with pediatrics is educating them that we're not, because
Yeah.
it's a very difficult conversation to have, especially with someone who's younger and just doesn't understand that yet.
Hmm.
Um, but I think just really emphasizing that the body we have now and the health we have now is the only one we're going to get in this lifetime. So making sure to like take care of that and just prioritizing yourself and showing yourself that love, um, so you can get back to what you want to do in like a more optimal manner. And I know it's hard like hearing that, firsthand, especially when someone
Hmm.
gets injured, like whatever they want to get back to is like the thing that they want to do. So it's just that patience, I think, that even including myself like need to learn. um,
Yeah.
yeah, so it is difficult. It's a difficult conversation to have, and that's something I'm definitely learning when I'm working with patients now, those conversations. But not, like not what's the word, uh, setting back their mindset. uh,
Hmm.
yeah, I don't know if that made sense, but
Yeah, definitely. I get what you mean with that. And this might be a question that, like, I don't know, not be able to answer, or there's not really like, it's not like black and white where like you really can answer it. It just might be like a case by case thing. But like, just out of curiosity, for anyone that does experience some sort of injury, and requires physical therapy, like, do you think it's possible to back to like quote unquote normal with where you're at? Or is it kind of like the principle of like you can get better and make improvements, but like if you know, damage your body. It's you can never make it exactly how it once was. Does that question kind of make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense. And I
Okay.
think with every case, it just really depends on the
Yeah.
person. So everyone's body is like so interesting because everybody heals differently, and
Mm-hmm.
teaching like new mechanisms of how to do something. So like pretend like you're shooting a basketball and you've just been shooting that way your whole life, but
Yeah,
that's what's causing your injury. Teaching them a different way can be more optimal, but they're not used to that. So
sure.
showing them different options. But like I said, it just really depends on the
Okay.
person in front of you and how that plays out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's hard to tell. That's an interesting question though, for sure.
Yeah. Okay. And maybe, I feel like, I don't know, maybe what you said kind of leads towards this question a bit. Um, in general, I'm just a very big believer in like mindset and just like kind of, thinking positive, or just like, if we're positive and happy, we're gonna experience more positive and happy things or something, for example. When it comes to like rehabbing the body, like, do you think like mindset can play a bigger part into like that recovery process for people?
Oh, 1000%. I just feel
Okay.
like if someone's mindset is more into wanting to get better and wanting to improve, I think that can make a tremendous impact on someone's like physical body.
Mm-hmm.
'Cause, I was learning in class the other day, but even pain itself, right? Like sometimes it's in the brain, and it's
Yeah.
not necessarily like a tissue injury, but it's you trying to convince your brain how to interpret the pain. So it's reteaching all these new things, but having that mindset and just changing the mindset and being more um, aware of what's happening, but being willing to work, I think can definitely play a huge motivating factor in someone's process for sure.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. In my undergrad, I majored in psychology, and one of like the most fascinating classes that I took was sports psychology. And I
Mm,
know, like you mentioned, like with the example, like someone shooting a basketball, and I think you are quite the basketball fan, right?
I am. I am a huge
Okay.
basketball fan.
Yeah, that's what I thought. So I remember like in the class, like the professor was talking kind of about something that like we just like covered a bit with like the rehab process and the mindset of the example that he gave was like Derrick Rose, right? Like probably one of the greatest basketball players ever if he didn't get hurt, as much as he did. And just like he talked about like that kind of like the psychology of coming back, like the aggressive maybe play style that he had coming back, and like maybe you just have that like mental block of like I don't want to blow out my knee again. And I think that like you said, like sometimes the pain or like I guess just the pain itself, it could be more mental or like a mental roadblock than like the physical pain that we experience.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
And I think when you talk Kobe,
Yeah.
Kobe like one of my biggest inspirators, and like his whole mantra on the and just keeping
Hmm.
work up and like having that work ethic to just be the best you can be. I think like says a lot about that too. Um, Along with Derrick
Yeah.
Rose, Derrick Rose is amazing too. Like I loved his mindset of just wanting to get back there and just
Hmm.
listening to his own body and listening to himself too.
For sure. Yeah, so I think that's actually a perfect segue. So what got you interested in basketball, or like where did that passion come into your life from?
Yeah, my family, we're all huge Laker fans, so
Okay.
we're basically birthed out as a Laker fan in my.
Yeah.
So my dad and my brother and my mom and I would watch every game together, like every night. So I guess watching the Lakers as I was growing up really just set an impact because it was a good family bonding experience too.
Sure.
And then, even with friends, like I bonded with a lot of friends through the common interest of basketball and just watching the sport in person. Like it just gives me so much life. Like
Yeah.
cheering for something. Like I'm never gonna be good at basketball, right? But I love watching other people be passionate and working hard towards what they like, basketball or music or whatever.
Hmm.
But yeah, that's basically where I grew up. In my area, growing up in LA, OC area, we're just all born Laker fans, I guess.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I remember. just seeing on like your social media and stuff, a lot of like Laker jerseys and stuff. And I mean, I don't have anything against the Lakers, so I'm not like that doesn't bother me or anything. I mean, I can't say like I'm a Lakers fan because I feel like that would just make me like a bandwagon fan, but I definitely have a lot of respect for Lakers. I mean, obviously one of the greatest basketball franchises around, and a little before our time and stuff with Magic and everyone was incredible. And then like probably in a lot of like mine in your childhood, like Kobe, Shaq. Those were some great years, and they had some great runs. So definitely a great team.
Yeah.
Not too sure about the future for you guys, but
Yeah, I'm not sure either, but you know what? I'll remain loyal.
there you go. There you go. I mean, like on paper, I feel like, you know, really good team. And what was it the bubble year, I guess 2020 or 21 when they won the championship, right?
Yeah, yeah, the
Okay.
bubble year. Wait, you know
Yeah,
what? I still think it counts. So
it does. I would count it for sure. That was a weird time in the world, but also in the NBA. But no, I count it for sure.
right, right.
Okay. Yeah. So what's your prediction for this coming season? How are they gonna be?
If I'm being honest with you, I don't know, but
Okay.
like I have so much hope for them, but I don't want to be ambitious and say like,
Sure.
yeah, we're gonna win it all because I'm gonna say that every year, no matter how bad we are. But
Sure.
but that's just like the loyalty in me as a Laker fan.
Okay. That's fair. Do you have a favorite player? Either like favorite Laker, current Laker, or just favorite player, and if you're just favorite player of the NBA.
Mm. All time, I think it's Kobe. It's gonna be Kobe. I feel like that's a very hard spot to beat for me, just because of the impact he had in like my family's life.
Yeah.
He's been like a huge part.
Okay.
Currently, I want Steph is up there because I just think he's amazing. Like as
Yeah.
I hate that he's not on the like that the Warriors will win all
Right.
the time. I respect his game so much, and I respect all the work he puts in.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I'm a big Steph fan, so I definitely approve of that. Wrong California
Like
team
it's
for
hard.
you, but
Yeah, I feel like it's hard to not
yeah,
just respect that when he plays like that. So
exactly. Yeah, I definitely agree with you. And I could be really off on this, but do I recall back when he was on the Lakers, were you a Kuzma fan?
oh my god, I was a Kuzma fan. I don't know
Okay.
if it's because I liked his like how he played or like how he
Yeah.
looked. If I'm being so honest with you, but I had the opportunity to meet him when he was a rookie on the Lakers, and he was a really
Okay.
nice guy,
Yeah.
and my mom loves him too. So
Okay.
yeah, I'm still a Kuzma fan at heart, but from afar
Is he
now.
on the Wizards now?
Yes, yes, he is.
Okay, that's what I thought. Yeah. Because I might be wrong, but I want to say I know he's from Michigan. I want to say from Flint. Um,
Yeah, he is from Flint.
okay. Yeah, that's what I thought. So yeah, just living all my life in Michigan, when Kuzma kind of burst onto the scene, I just became a fan just because, anytime you can have someone from your home state showing out like that, it was cool. But I really liked his game too, and I thought he was great, and I honestly thought he was going to be like a huge piece for the Lakers' future. But as we know, a lot of draft picks they got are long gone from the team.
Yeah, that's Lakers. Every time I like fall in love with a new coming player and I have potential in them, they just get traded off. So I don't want to grow too many
Yeah.
attachments anymore.
Exactly. Exactly. Oh man, I love it. But Lindsay, kind of like switching gears a little bit. Like so we've talked a little bit about your music journey and experience like on YouTube and everything, and we talked about currently, your role as a student in physical therapy. Um, if you know or even have an idea, like what do you like think the future looks like for you? Like, is it kind of like you're going into the professional world as a physical therapist, but like you still want to do music when you can find the time, or is it like ideally some you want to like do the music side of things like full time as a job?
Hmm. Yeah, so I think in the future, like what I'm aiming to do or what I hope to do is be a practicing physical therapist in what I'm not sure yet, but
Hmm.
be a practicing physical therapist because of all the hours, put in, but also still working on music on the side. And instead of like it being something that I just have time for, like when I can, I really want to get back to, working at it and setting aside time for it. Um, whether that be just like perform out again, I think that'd be so awesome. Um, yeah, right now it's just hard with all the studying, but in the future, I definitely want to have both parts of my life incorporated because I am passionate about both of them equally. Um, and it's like,
Yeah.
I don't think it's fair for me to say, like, I'm going to, just because I feel like those are like my two kids.
Yeah.
um, so I feel like involving both of them in my life in the future for the long run would be the most ideal.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. It's honestly really cool to hear that response from you, just because I think it's like, I think a lot of people, myself honestly included, like we think of like music or we think of like creative things or just not what we do as like our career as like this incredible passion of ours that like we would do anything to to make our full-time career. But it's really cool to hear that like the profession that you're going into is something that you equally is passionate about. I mean, I think that that's like something that it's really cool because I know that whether it's me or just like a lot of my friends or people that I went to school with, a lot of us are like, we got this degree and like whatever, and like now we're not even in that field or we don't even know what we want to do. So it's really cool to hear that you found something that you truly do have a big passion for.
Yeah, thank you. I'm really grateful that I like even
Hmm.
experienced like both sides to it and like still incorporating both because I mean I feel like to me they're very opposite from each other. Like
Yeah.
one's medical, like in the creative industry. So I feel like having you don't have to really choose what you want to be, right? Like I feel like we're all
Hmm.
individuals and we all have different parts that are important to us and it's okay to do both or it's okay to pursue all of them if you really are passionate about it instead of focusing on one. And I think that's like something that's been instilled to me like from my parents because they always encouraged me to keep passionate about stuff that I enjoy doing and to do the stuff I do because it makes me happy instead of working for other people. Obviously, I want to help other people and work for that reason. I feel like professions
Hmm.
impact people in different ways. As long as it's helping my life fulfilled, and for me, that's seeing other people fulfilled by whatever I'm doing, be with my hands or with my voice or whatever. Um, yeah, sorry, long-winded answer, but
Yeah. No, definitely. I think that's cool because as you were saying that, I was thinking back to like early in this conversation where you mentioned like what really kind of got you to post on YouTube was like if, one person was watching your videos and smiled or laughed or enjoyed the cover or thought it was, unique or whatever, like that was like satisfying for you. Like that's kind of like something that drove you and it's like you're helping people in a sense with that. And then like being a physical therapist, like you're obviously helping people's, just recovery or their body or injuries and stuff. So I think it's whether even though they are like kind of polar opposite passions of yours, like I think the end result is like you get to positively impact people in both ways, and I think that that sounds like that's kind of at the end of the day like another passion of yours, just like however you can help and have a positive impact on others.
yeah, exactly. I feel like ways in life, and I feel like they both do that in different ways. Like I feel like with physical therapy, like seeing someone walk for the first time is so satisfying me. Then with music, like cheering up if they need that, like helping them emotionally
Hmm.
and mentally. any impact, like make this world better, someone feel better than the situation that they're in. I think that's awesome. So
Yeah, I think so too. And that kind of mindset that you have about like just, helping people and just making a positive impact and just like kind of just your mindset in general, is that really just like you're kind of saying like that was instilled by your parents, by your family for you?
yeah, I think so too. And like I think it also stems from my faith because I am a believer in God and like learned in like Bible school or whatever is just helping others just because that's what Jesus did. And I think my parents passed
Hmm.
that on to me and by really being good examples. All my family members actually, like just seeing how they.
So little technical difficulties, but we were talking about like you mentioned kind of like your faith, you would say is like another kind of thing that's like helped guide you with like the mindset that you have.
Yeah, 100%. I grew up Catholic and I'm Christian now. My parents really drove in the faith aspect of my life, and I just think learning stuff, whether that be in church or from them, was like learning how to help people, just because like that
Hmm.
was what was good. Um, but seeing my parents and my other family members like they're all in different fields, whether that be the medical field or customer service or like the arts fields and stuff like that. All of them impact people in different ways, and they've impacted me immensely. So I think just paying that forward to others and what I've received and like all this like joy and all this help that I've felt in my so
I love that. That's awesome. Like just like kind of the idea of like paying it forward and like all the help that like you've received, like kind of again just like paying it forward and helping others or just like being there for others in like the ways that you were given. So I think that's really cool.
yeah, thank you.
Yeah, of course.
All so
I love it. That's awesome. Um, so Lindsay, I kind of have to ask to anyone that's listening, maybe wants to try something with music or wants to put themselves out there by, putting videos on YouTube or maybe even just like videos on TikTok or um, Instagram Reels or whatever. Like, do you have any advice for anyone that wants to kind of try to put themselves out there like that?
yeah, my advice would be just not really caring about what other people say, no matter how scared you are of the reaction, because chances are there's one person out there that's going to get impacted by whatever you post and that's going to relate to you too. So just like
Hmm.
being confident in that and just knowing that there's going to be at least one person in the going to be impacted by what you post. And even if it doesn't seem like that in the moment, just know that even whether it be 10 years from now, like the Charlie XCX video, or whether that be
Hmm.
like one person from like yesterday, it's going to happen. And if anything, I just say do it for yourself. Do it because it makes you happy and not that you're trying to like please others or um, um, just be likable or anything like that. But just do it because you're passionate about it and you're put out that and knowing that you've put in all the hard work and whatever inspiration is like blended into what you just want to pass that along. Um, I'm going to be impacted by it eventually. So that would be my advice.
Yeah, I love that. I think that's great advice, and I think it's like you said, do what makes you happy and do it for yourself. And we've obviously talked about like with your content being music focused and everything, which every music, and there's a lot of people that like post a lot of music related things. But like if you're passionate about like I don't know comic books or like collecting like stones or like gemstones or like whatever, like whatever you're passionate about, like if you want to put content out there, like do it for yourself. And like you'd be surprised, like there's people that have so many different interests and passions that are similar, right? So it's not like you have to, I don't know, like I feel like social media is a lot of like music and like fitness and I don't know, sports or whatever, but there's just so many other cool passions that that people have. So like whatever you're passionate about, like just go for it. If you feel, called to do so. And I guarantee, like Lindsay was saying, like there's someone out there that will really enjoy it or it'll make them happy or that they'll also share that with you.
Yeah, and I think it's cool with like social media, you're also creating that community and that
Yeah.
safe space for others to share and communicate about what they're interested in too. And you never know, you can make a relationship or a friendship with someone down the road just because of like a common interest that you guys are so niche about, you know?
Yeah, definitely. I think that like we're humans and we're social creatures and we want social connection and community. So I think that, yeah, like you said, it's kind of like a cool way to build that community and just get to know other people with similar interests or like-minded individuals. And it's just a cool kind of place to be.
Yeah, exactly. Like I wouldn't have met you without social
Exactly.
media.
I know exactly, right? And like outside of this call, I know we were joking the other day about like I feel like we both like grew up like
Yeah.
the same like we grew up like the same time because it's been like 10 years that we I've kind of been just keeping an eye on your content and stuff. So it's just like one of those things where it's like wow, that's wild.
Yeah, like friends from across the nation or across the globe, just growing up with them. I thought that was super cool when you told me that too.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Definitely. And I so that was kind of like my question for like kind of like the music creative side, like what people can do. Um, I guess if you have advice for the more professional side of you, I'm curious now to anyone that's listening who is maybe they're an athlete, maybe they just like to run, a couple times a week, or maybe they go to the gym a lot or something. Is there anything that we could be doing as like physically active humans that might like help prevent having to go to physical therapy or anything that we can do to help our body maybe build up resistance to injury?
Yeah. Yeah, so I feel like being patient is a
Okay.
really big thing. And really listening and being attuned to your body and knowing when you need to rest. Because I feel like that's a thing a lot of us struggle with today is we're always wanting to work hard and do something and be better at something, but I feel like a lot of us forget to rest in the midst of that. And rest is intentional. Rest is something that I think we all need to um, be that optimal version of ourselves because we're only human, right? Like we're not
Mm-hmm.
machines built to run 24/7. We have to listen to our body and what our physical body, our mental state, our emotions. I just feel like being in tune with yourself and just taking time, even just taking time every day, like 5 minutes, 10 minutes at the beginning or the end of each day, just to listen to yourself and what do you need that day? Do you want to work harder? Do you want to rest? And whatever you're going to be right because you know your body best.
Mm-hmm.
But in terms of preventing injury, along with remembering that and being patient, just I know it. Obviously, like we don't want to see people in physical therapy all the time,
Right.
but just working on your form too. I know
Okay.
that's hard to seek. Sometimes it's hard to seek help in that just because we've been so accustomed to doing things the same way, but sometimes like you don't notice like the way you move could eventually cause something later down the road. So even like prevention is key too, I think. Just
Okay.
but yeah, keeping active, like it's important to keep active too, right? So
Yep.
yeah.
Okay. Perfect. And um, something that you mentioned was like kind of being in tune with your body and like just like we know our bodies better than anyone else, and we just have to kind of like listen to our body. Um, I know that as much as I hate to say it, like I think that that's something that I've always struggled with is like kind of like you said, I'm that person that wants to keep pushing it or like, I'm like, oh, like let me just work hard or like maybe I should rest or I could rest, but like I could also go run a couple miles or something because I want to be active or whatever. Do you have any advice to like anyone that might struggle with like being in tune with your body or like how we can better become kind of like in tune with our bodies?
Yeah. Something that's helped me a lot, because I used to be really bad at it too. I would just
Yeah.
keep, like, I would just be like, oh, I can stay up late,
Yeah.
get more studying in, or I can keep working out so I can be more fit or whatever.
Right.
But I think what I've learned and what I've tried to incorporate more into my life is like meditation, or
Mm.
finding like a safe space for you. For me, it's like the beach. Every time
Okay.
I'm at the beach, that's where I think, and I just kind of close everything else out and just really, it's hard, right? Like when
Yeah.
you say being attuned to your body, you're just expecting like your inner voice to just come. But sometimes like we're, work like that. I know I started off journaling, and
Okay.
I didn't realize what my thoughts were until I read it back. Um,
Mm.
yeah, so everyone has their own specific ways. I know some other people do it through music and like writing or something.
Yeah.
For me personally, I've just been on a writer's block. It's kind of difficult, but yeah, journaling and meditation has helped me a lot
Okay.
with that.
Yeah. I'm a big fan of both. So definitely journaling meditation, I think, can be very helpful. And something that you just said about journaling that I've never even thought of that I think is something that I want to try, and I guess I'd encourage people to try is like you said, like reading it back.
Hmm.
I've just always been like, just like let's brain dump on, paper or, digitally on the computer or whatever, and then
Hmm.
just like kind of put it away. And then like maybe I might revisit it like a year later and be like, "Oh wow, like that was crazy that I was like thinking about this then." But like I've actively gone through and like reread like what I journaled that day or the next day, like reflect back on yesterday. So I think like reading it back, that sounds like something that could honestly be really beneficial to do.
Yeah, I actually never thought about it until I talked to a friend about it,
Okay.
and um, I was just going through this rut at the time, like thinking progress and like the work I
Mm-hmm.
was putting in. And then this friend encouraged me to just read back on my journals and my journal entry. And after reading it, you can see like the growth, the personal growth you make yourself too. Like you can look back and say, like, oh, I got through that hard phase of my life, so I can do it again now. Or I was feeling that at the time, and this is what I ended up doing to make me feel better. So I feel like just reflecting back and just always remember, because the past matters too, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's a good point. And like it's crazy because like when we go through things and experiences, like we might think like, oh my gosh, I'm never gonna make it through this, or like I can't, get out of this rut that I'm in. But then it's like it gives perspective if you can like look back and be like, okay, like I thought it was like the end of the world and that I made it. Like here I am, and just like being able to see like all the things that you've overcome, I think it can be really powerful.
Right, right.
Definitely. Awesome. Well, Lindsay, it's been a really, really great conversation and fun time chatting with you. To anyone that's listening that liked your story that or just like the information about yourself that you shared, or maybe wants to check out some of the music, the originals, the covers, um, would like YouTube, or do you have like a specific social media that would be like the best place for people to follow along with?
Yeah, so personal life, I mean, I'm always posting like either music or PT or social
Yeah.
life on, on my Instagram. It's Luhinsee, Luhinsee. And then on YouTube, just my name, Lindsee Ann. Um, I've been posting covers and originals there periodically. And I also have a Spotify. It's called Room 408. It's a band that I'm in with my friend, and that's spelled RM408. And we have one original song up there now, hopefully trying to come out with more, but that's another social too.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, and I will put all of that in the description of the episode. So if you didn't catch it from Lindsay saying it, you can go to the description and check her out on YouTube, Instagram, or her band on Spotify, which super exciting. And yeah, I saw that that's something else that you've been working on. So I'm excited for that too.
Yeah, thank you.
Awesome. Yeah, of course. Well, thank you so much for your time and everything tonight. Do you have any last like thoughts, message, words, or anything that you want to share to anyone listening?
Yeah, just like I said a while ago, just being open minded to whatever comes in life. Life is so short, so really just take whatever comes and go with it. with it, be patient with it, and keep working hard at stuff that makes you happy and not what others get happy out of. Wait, can I I'm gonna
Yes,
rephrase that. I'm gonna
yes.
rephrase that. So yeah, be patient and be open minded and work hard and doing stuff. Make sure you're doing it for yourself and not for other people.
There we go. I love it. I think that that's super important, and I mean, I can echo that wholeheartedly and just say, like, even me starting this podcast, it was because it was something I wanted to do and something that made me happy. And very similar to Lindsay, I had the mindset of like, I'm sure maybe one person in the world, a family member, a friend, a stranger might hear the whole, like every episode I upload or one episode, and maybe you'll make them smile, maybe you'll make them happy, they'll learn something, they'll get to know a cool person, and if just one person, benefits from it or enjoys it, like it's all worth it to me. So, do things for yourself and because they make you happy, and just don't underestimate the impact that we can have on others by sharing our passions.
100%. Couldn't have said it better myself.
Awesome. Well, thank you. Well, Lindsay, it has been an absolute pleasure. Thank you again for your time. And I cannot wait to just continue following along with your journey professionally and musically. And I know that you're going to do some very, very cool and awesome things on both fields, music and physical therapy. And good luck with the end of school as you wrap up your program and everything. And yeah, I'm just looking forward to seeing everything you accomplish in the coming years.
Yeah, thank you so much. And thanks again for having me.
Of course, yeah, anytime. I'll talk to you later.
All right.
Bye.